Welcome back. So we've talked about sort of the general structure of the Moodle course, but I wanted to come in and take a look at this thing called WebAssign that we're going to be using for homework submission and the course text and whatnot. So uh, for what it's worth, you may have used WebAssign with a course before. There's a few different ways it can actually be accessed. For our purposes, you're going to get to WebAssign directly through Moodle. So if you've taken like a finite math class or something where you were given a code by your instructor, you had to go to the WebAssign site and type in. You don't do that here. You're going to click this link, and it's going to set things up for you so that going forward you won't need to keep accessing WebAssign directly. It'll take care of itself. First time around, you will need to create or link a Cengage account. So Cengage is our textbook publisher; they own WebAssign. So you may need to take care of that. Unfortunately, I've done this for so long now that I don't really have like the sign-in thing, and it's changed 3 times since I did it. But I think it's going to be pretty straightforward to get an account created, or link up an existing one if you already happen to have an account with Cengage through some other course. So for now, let's go ahead and click on the link, and it should pop open in a new tab in your browser. WebAssign is officially optimized for use inside Mozilla Firefox, but Google Chrome should also work okay. We'll talk a bit more about some of the technical stuff at the end. For now, when you log in, it's not going to look like this. This is what it looks like to me as an instructor. So I'm going to come click on this guy that says Open Student View so we can see what it looks like, on the student end. So I can't remember if it actually has you pick a course or if it's just because I'm a teacher and I have a ton of them. So let's go ahead and click on that guy, and I'll come down here, click this, semester's Math 210 course, and here we go. So you'll see at the very top you've got a list of assignments with upcoming due dates listed right here. Generally speaking, I'll set them to be due a little bit before class is supposed to start each evening. So there's 3 currently. We'll take a look at what one of those assignments looks like in just a moment. I wanted to scroll down here and take a look at some other materials that are in here. So if you want to get to our textbook, it's down here in this bottom right corner. Click on this guy. It opens up another piece of Cengage software called MindTap. It requires Adobe Flash. That's actually a good thing to point out at this point. WebAssign uses Adobe Flash, so you'll need to keep it up to date. So just as a heads up, I know sometimes there are links inside WebAssign that take you to a place to get Adobe Flash. If they try to charge you for Adobe, don't do that. You don't need to buy any Adobe products for our math class. If it comes to that, just pop open your favorite search engine and type "get Adobe Flash," and you should find like a free download link that you can set up. So here's our text as it's set up. You'll notice it's broken up. As you're saying, we're not going to be going over chapter 0. There is a fair amount of algebra in this course. If you feel like you need some practice with that, then have at it. But that's not what we're going to be covering. We're going to be starting in chapter 1. Over the course of the semester, we'll cover content in chapters 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. So we're not getting to this entire class in 7 weeks, in case you were worried. But so yeah, clicking on a particular thing, it'll pop open section by section, that kind of deal. So hopefully that makes sense. So now let's go back. Before we go back up and look at the problems, I do want to mention, if you want some additional practice with course material, there's this thing called a personal study plan. You can play around with this if you want more practice. It's completely off the record. I don't even know if it's possible for me to see what it's done in here, but it'll generate little quizzes for you to sort of practice what you know off the record, so to speak. Okay, so now up to the homework. So we've got a few different assignments here. We will click on one and see what the formatting has for us. All right, so one thing I do want to point out, WebAssign does randomize the problems inside a given assignment. So your problem 1 might not look exactly like my problem 1. Just, FYI, don't panic if you get in here and your problem 1 says something different. So you'll notice here it's got this little Adobe Flash, image that we'll have to play around with a number line, momentarily. But for now, let's take a look at the format of the problem. So we've got, we're renting a car from 2 different places, one for $37 a day, one for $20 per day, but they charge an additional fee. And then we try to figure out, how many days would it be cheaper to rent from General, from this second, company here. So I'm just going to put in an answer. So I don't recommend that you do this normally. I'm just going to put in that D needs to be less than 10. And then to plot this thing on a number line, let's see, if I want to be greater than 10, so I need an open circle, right there at 10. And then let's see, looking at my options. So let's see, okay, and so you'll see, I've now got my number line kind of, filled in with everything that's greater than 10. So let's see here. Submit my answer. Shock and dismay, my just randomly typed in stuff is incorrect. So things that are incorrect will be marked with a red X. So generally speaking, on homework problems in Math 210, each problem you're going to get 3 opportunities at it. So that's kind of a heads up there. So if you're wanting some practice, as you're sort of beyond that, or you need some help, we'll talk about some of the resources you have available to help you. So there's generally an orange button here that says read it. That link will take you to the appropriate place in the textbook so you can dig around. A lot of our problems will also have a thing off to the side labeled watch it. So that's like it will pop open a video. Those aren't done by me. They were done by our textbook publisher, working on a similar type of exercise to whatever it is that we're working on right here. You may additionally notice that down here next to the submit answer button, there's a thing that says practice another version. If you click on that guy, it'll pop open another version of the problem with some stuff kind of re-randomized inside, so you can practice without using up one of your submissions. Okay, it took a moment to work out sort of a correct answer so we can see, how this ends up looking. If you need to clear out something like this, we can hit erase, get rid of my dot right there. It's gone. All right, put in open circle. You'll notice I put in 8 days here. I have, in fact, worked this out. And there we go. I've got my number line filled in with everything bigger than 8. Like I said, you want the open circle because you don't want to include 8. So we hit submit. And ta-da! We get check marks, and now you'll notice that up in the top corner here, we have now earned both of the 2 points available for this particular problem. So hopefully that's kind of given you sort of the format of how these things are going to end up working. One more thing I did want to point out while we're looking at a particular problem here. Up in this top right corner, you may notice there's a thing that says, ask your teacher. You can't quite see the whole teacher thing because of what I can capture on my screen. But up there it says, ask your teacher. If you click on that, it'll give you the opportunity to send a message to me through WebAssign, so you don't have to send like a separate email. Like I'll get a notification that, So here we go. So, hi, Professor Carroll. I can't type. So you can type in what work you've already gotten, so what work you've done to see how far you've gotten. If you want to point out a particular part of the problem that's giving you an issue or something like that, there's a send button over here on the side. Hit send, and I'll have a message in my inbox from myself. So that's another resource you have available, and this way you don't have to hop back over to Outlook to send an email to me. You can ask your question from inside WebAssign. I will answer you from inside WebAssign. So that's the general format of the homework. I do want to point out, you don't have to submit the entire assignment all at once. So if you get to the very bottom here, there's a thing that says submit assignment. That doesn't really do anything for our course because I have things configured so you can submit individual problems. You can actually even submit individual problem parts. So you could technically have just tried this first bit without attempting to fill in the number line. Make sure you get that right before you end up, messing up, on the graph, that sort of thing. So just, keep that in mind. I think that's just about everything. I did want to mention our tests are also going to be, doable through WebAssign. So as you're saying, you'll be doing your test in there. There's not one yet. I have yet to put the first one together, but it'll be inside there. It's going to more or less play by the same rules. You won't be able to utilize Ask Your Teacher or practice another version on the test. And instead of having 3 attempts at each problem like you normally default to having on the homework, you're only going to get 2 tries. So that's sort of where things are going to be going. So I think that's got what I wanted to talk about as far as WebAssign is concerned. So, of course, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out and let me know. So, yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching.